Take 557. I need the little. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Real Life Real, back again with another video. As you can see by the background, it's a little different. I'm getting my setup together and changing some stuff around, stuff like that. But let's jump into the video for today. We looking at Andrew Tate emergency meeting. I did already watch this, but I feel like he's talking about some very important stuff that we should bring here to the channel and just, spread the word, and take notes. And so without further ado, before we get into the video, no Fiji in the video today. I got my water bottle, but I don't got a Fiji bottle, but Fiji still sponsoring me. More bottles coming soon. Hit your boy, come on, don't be stingy. Please, I need it. As you can see, I got my little brosy in the cut right here. He's going to tune in and watch the video with me, maybe. We'll see what happens. If he gets bored and decides to leave, then I guess I didn't do my job. You're not gonna be able to.
Welcome to emergency meeting, willing and able. Because we're willing and able to tell you the truth, and you're going to be willing and able to be men of agency and capability. This is going to be a very serious emergency meeting. We have a lot to teach you. So we strongly recommend you get a pen and paper and take notes during this emergency meeting because it's going to be life-changing. A lot of work's gone into the content we're going to provide for you guys today. But before that, we have to do the most important thing, of course, which is... You make the best shows, producer. You got all the moves, producer. Gonna bring the feeling, producer. Really emergency meeting.
Talk me, Tate and Tristan, the Tate brothers. Hey, Tristan, look at Tristan's suit. He always got on the sweetest jams.
So welcome to emergency meeting, willing and able.
Ooh.
We're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about masculinity as a whole and what actually makes a high value man. Because I get asked this question all the time. And I also notice there's a whole bunch of red pill creators and people on the internet, and there's a whole bunch of dorks who are popping up.
They get it wrong.
Who get it completely wrong, and they talk about money, or they do a bunch of drugs and run their mouth, and they're a bunch of clowns. So we're going to make it very clear what a man is and what a man should be. And we're going to explain it in an extremely concise, compendious, detailed way. And I guarantee what we're going to do is provide you a blueprint to be the most successful version of yourself and genuinely be able to live a life worth living and make an impact on the universe. Not only to your family and the immediate people who are close to you, but the universe as a whole. I'm going to explain to you some very important concepts. Some of them will be nuanced and difficult. Some of them will be very simple. But we're not just going to sit and do the normal thing. We say, high value man, get in good shape, get some money. We're not going to talk about the things. We're going to talk about all the nuanced small points that makes a man respected by his peers and respected by women. In depth. So we would like you to get a pen and paper and take notes and pay attention. And anybody who takes detailed notes in this emergency meeting, please tweet them at me afterwards at Cobra Tate, and I'll retweet. Because I want to see the kind of notes you take and how detailed they are. So we have a lot to talk about. We'll be answering your questions in super chats. Anytime you can super chat us, all that money goes to TatePledge.com. If you're not sure what TatePledge.com is, we spend $25 million a year feeding people from war-torn countries all around the world, primarily children. All of our haters, of course, donate no money to anybody because all they do is hate. We're actually out here trying to save the world because we are Tates. Little rhyme there for you, Mr. Producer. So, I'm a G. So, I am. So, before we begin, wait. There's a Matrix agent.
A mosquito.
From the Matrix is an agent, yeah.
Well, a little miniature spy ball. So we have to kill it with fly spray. Where is he? I don't see him.
There's a Matrix agent.
That is a mosquito, Andrew.
I saw him, and he's sent by the Matrix to take our blood. He wanted to get our DNA back to the lab so they can try and replicate us and create the evil versions of us which work for the Matrix, so the only thing powerful enough to counter us. Don't you understand that that mosquito bites us, that we're in trouble? The whole world's in trouble. The only thing that can beat Andrew and Tristan Tate are the evil versions of Andrew and Tristan Tate. Dark Andrew and Tristan Tate. That mosquito is sent by the Matrix to get our DNA.
Because the geeks who are trying aren't doing a very good job. So.
Correct.
They need to upgrade the strength of their army, and they need our blood to do so. Okay, keep an eye out. Be ready. Stay vigilant. We see the mosquito. If I see that mosquito, he's dying.
Word of the day, vigilant.
First, you want to talk about why so many people get what a high value man is wrong. Because I want to make this very clear. I get sent clips all the time of influencers, red pill dudes, blah, blah, blah. And because I don't talk to any of them, a lot of them seem to not like me. But I just want to make something very clear before we start. I don't know who these people are.
I got a shirt on.
I go through my whole life not knowing who these people are. They're insignificant. They're unimportant. They're not worth listening to. And then what happens is someone sends me a clip, and there'll be some dork sitting there be like, yeah, me and the Tates really don't get along because don't get along? I don't fucking know you. I don't know where the ego comes from in these people, but they're wrong about almost everything that I see them speak on. And obviously they don't like me. They're wrong about everything because how can you not like me and how can you not think I'm a positive force for the world? So I don't know who most of these geeks are that you're talking about, Andrew. But I certainly don't watch their content. I certainly don't watch their podcast.
Neither do I. I just want to clarify once and for all what our beliefs are, what we believe a high-value man is, and how a man should live his life in a detailed way. Because on podcasts, I usually give a very short answer because I don't have unlimited time. But here on an emergency meeting, we have unlimited time. And that's why we're going to give a very in-depth answer. And we're going to give people a framework they can live by. We already have the tenets, which you can see on covertape.com, the 41 tenets of life. And if you live by those tenets, then you stand a very good chance of being an extremely capable and successful man. However, we're going to give a lot more detail on what I believe the problems with masculinity are today and how to be the best version of yourself and how to be a prime male in the modern world and to live a life worth living and make an impact on the universe. So that's what we're going to do.
Because it's hard in 2020.
It's absolutely not really hard, and it's going to get harder and harder. It's certainly not going to get easier. While we do that, we're going to keep an eye out for the Matrix agent because he must be assassinated.
Yeah, I know.
Right. We begin. Many young men are under the impression that manhood is elevating themselves with their mouths void of anything behind it, and you couldn't be more wrong. They confuse the idea of peacocking, which is, I believe, is quite a masculine trait. People think that if you're truly secure, you don't want a nice car, you don't want a fancy watch. I disagree. I think since the beginning of human time, men have always peacocked. We've always shown our value with material things. It doesn't matter if we went to war and killed the enemy and took a feather from the enemy and put it in our hat. Doesn't matter if we chopped our enemy's heads off. Doesn't matter if we took a piece of gold and wore it around our neck that we stole from some village we raided. We've always been peacocking to a degree. We've always been showing the world that we're valuable.
All right, man, the camera exploded. But let me take it back a little bit because I don't know exactly where we left.
In the world that we're some village we raided. We've always been peacocking to a degree. We've always been showing the world that we're valuable and that we're successful and that we've done something important. And peacocking is very important. But men have got this confused and they think they can just use their mouths to elevate themselves without any genuine substance behind it. And that's one of the largest mistakes because that shows when you're genuinely tested, and God will make sure that you are, you're going to fail. So it's very important you're not the kind of person who thinks, I understand I need to elevate myself as a man. I understand I need to be high status. I understand I need to be respected. I'm going to do that with a big mouth and no genuine capability to back that up. That's one of the biggest mistakes. In fact, it's extremely feminine.
And God's going to test you if you keep running your mouth.
God's going to test you. I really believe the reason we went to jail is because we became the most famous men in the world for our mental fortitude. And if you're going to be called the top G, and we're going to be the Tate brothers, and we're going to be known for our mental fortitude, God is going to test our mental fortitude by throwing us in a Romanian dungeon surrounded with cockroaches. There's no way you can become the top G of the planet. There's no way you can become the most famous brothers on earth and be respected for your mental fortitude and all the things you teach, and God not test you.
Because there are people out in the world who preach mental fortitude, etc., who break down whenever anything difficult happens to them.
Absolutely. And God is always watching. So it's very important you're not just somebody with a big mouth. You have to have some genuine things to back it up. Substance. And I feel like a lot of you didn't have a present father or a strong father figure to emulate. So you have no frame of reference for masculinity. So you see these idiots with a big mouth online. You think having a big mouth is going to be enough. And it's not enough for God. It's not enough for the reality of the world, because if you walk around with a big enough mouth, eventually you're going to get checked. You get the shit kicked out of you. Yep. And it's also not enough for females. You need to understand that if you convince a woman you're high value with your mouth and your mouth alone, sooner or later she's going to realize you are a liar. And that is when she's going to leave you. So if you're sitting at home thinking, well, I had this girl, she thought I was the man. A few months later, she's not that interested in me. Yeah, because she got to know you better. She saw behind the bravado, and she saw that you don't really have any genuine real-world achievements. You haven't really done anything that's super interesting. You have to do things that make men respect you for women to respect you. And usually those things require a...
Did you say to me, bro?
You gotta lie to the woman. Just
I hate it
in your life, bro.
Don't
just keep it a buck.
Bro, you listen. What?
I keep it a buck.
Do you have a woman right now?
I don't need a woman. I don't got
That's
that. Let me explain my.
I don't need a woman. They all say that. They all say that when they can't keep.
I'm getting my life together. I don't need a woman right now. I got. Look at this guy. He's trying to down somebody, but trying to get their life together. Of course.
I ain't down.
But like I
I'm
said,
just saying,
I'm
you
getting
coming
my
up with
life together.
excuses.
I'm getting myself in check. A woman can come and go as they please. I'm not gonna say no, but I'm gonna get myself straight. I'm gonna get on my grind, and then the woman gonna come to that. They gonna see that I got my emotion coming. They gonna come to that. That's just how it goes. You don't chase.
What you
You
saying?
get yourself situated, and then it's in a magnet.
What you saying is, women are gonna be attracted to what you have and not you.
I never said that.
You just said she's gonna come for what I had. That's literally what you just said. She coming for you or what you have, bro?
I could put that into perspective for a different type of woman.
That's not the type of woman you want, bro.
Of course it's not. That's why I don't have one. Because I don't need one. Because I'm getting myself in check.
You haven't met the right one.
I'm young. I don't expect to meet the right one.
It happens to people.
It can happen to anybody.
Exactly. So why would you say
anything to happen?
Hey, bro, I ain't saying
play the video.
I'm saying it can happen. But I hear this, bro. So it's like having a younger sibling.
Game is game. I'm gonna say it.
Game is game. I already told you who you are. That one dude on TikTok that give out the worst game.
Nah, bro. 50-50. He got some hits. He got some hits. Sometimes he misses.
Hey, man. You on your life how you on your life.
I'm running it right.
Anyway.
A degree of bravery. Men have always been respected for our bravery. We did the brave thing, and it is the brave thing on the other side of fear, which is going to build your character and build your internal self-belief, but it's also going to build a magic inside of you that a woman can see when she looks inside of your eyes. It's also going to build a magic inside of you that people can see when they look in your eyes. When people look in my eyes, they know I've been brave, and they know I'll be brave again, and they don't want to test my bravery because they know it exists, and they know it's been tested, they know it is real. So this is very important. People confuse this and say, oh, yeah, confident men don't talk, confident men don't brag. And they're saying that because a lot of people who are bragging have nothing to back it up. Once again, I slightly disagree. If you have enough to back it up, you are allowed to brag. But you have to make sure there are real-world achievements and you're not living in any kind of delusion. Absolutely everything as a man is your responsibility. It's your responsibility to become your best and brightest version of yourself. And you're not going to do that simply by talking it into existence. You need to live it into existence. You need to go out there and do things which are genuinely difficult, genuinely stressful, which are genuinely scary. So you can become the man you want to be. So you have to take responsibility for these things, and you have to seek them and choose and find the correct difficulties for you to overcome so you can build a character worth having. It's the information that you absorb and what you do with it that will ultimately mold and shape who you want to become. So every single one of you who's watching this, you're in the right place at the right time. We're going to give you some very important information today. I hope you implement it and you use it the best version of yourself. But it's also very important that you create the world you live in. You create your reality. You create the information you absorb, and you're not sitting there absorbing garbage from loudmouth idiots or matrix programming that's designed to keep you inside of the slave mind. You have to be very careful with the things you consume. So I want you to think at home, before we read the super chats, which we're about to do, I want you to think, besides your loud mouth, what do you have that make people know you're truly a man? What do you have? I can name some things, right? People walk in my house, they can see, okay, I'm financially successful. They look at my body, they know I'm motivated, disciplined, and I'm extremely strong. They look at my world title belts, they know I can fight. They look at the woman on my arm, they know that I am worthy of respect because she treats me with absolute respect. They look at my network, they see that men treat me with absolute respect. I don't have to open my mouth, and people can instantly look at me and go, okay, he has X, Y, and Z. If you couldn't talk, you put on a t-shirt, you put on some jeans, and you can't talk, and you're walking around the world, when people look at you, why do they see you as a high-value man? Do you have anything you project? Do you project true bravery? Do you project true confidence? Or do you need to talk to try and convince people of these things? They say confidence is quiet. It can also be very loud, but you don't want to live in a delusion. That's the first thing. So I want every single person here who's actually taking notes to think, if I can't talk, how am I judged? If I can't speak, what do people think of me? How am I projecting my value to the world if I can't say a word? That's the most important thing. Let's read the super chat before we continue.
Yeah, Zorik said, shout out from the War Room, Conquer the Earth gentleman, $200 super chat. Top G Commandants, $500 super chat, said, I'm a student from the Content Creation Artificial Intelligence campus in Hustlers University. I ask, what should you do to separate yourself from the competition and stand out from others that are making content?
Perfect. You're in exactly the right place at the right time. We're going to talk about exactly that, because a lot of people who are making content, because you speak into a microphone, think that speaking is enough. The reason we have such a strong brand is not just because we speak, it's because we are talking about a life we have lived, experiences which have happened, things we have done, and things we are capable of doing. We genuinely are saving the world, donating $25 million a year. Nobody else can say that. Nobody else has the capability to do it, or the heart, or the gumption, or the balls, or even the capability to organize feeding people in a war-torn country. Do you have any idea how difficult it is to even feed people in Iran? Yeah. Think about the logistics of it.
To avoid scammers and people on the ground who want to take your money and not do anything useful with it.
Yeah, so it's very difficult to do these things.
You need a network.
You need a network, and
you need to be respected, and you need to be trusted, essentially, and you need to trust others, but you need people who you can trust, and me and Andrew have that.
Absolutely. So you're talking about how do you make content that makes you stand out? Well, if you stand out as a man, then your content will stand out, because you'll have exactly the right things to say, and you'll be trusted and believed, because people will see in your eyes and know that you're more than just a loud mouth. So I want everybody here who's watching this, I consider this a matter of social responsibility. I want you to pull up a chair and eliminate all the distractions, because I'm going to speak to each and every one of you as if you were my son or a student or someone I'm trying to mentor. I'm going to imagine that all of you know nothing, and we're talking from the complete ground up how to become the best versions of yourself. Because manhood is exceptionally hard, and life is hard. But how you shape yourself will determine how hard it is for you and how miserable it will be. I've said this many times in many different iterations on different podcasts, but I want to repeat it again. As a man, there is no easy life. If you're looking for easy life, you should have been a girl. You made a mistake.
Yep.
Your life is not about being easy. Your life is not about being happy. Your life is always going to be difficult. All of the pain you feel, all of the sadness you feel, you're supposed to feel as a man, and you have two effective binary.
What's up with you, bro? Oh, why sucking? Put him in check.
Choices. You either go through the suffering and go through the trauma and go through the hardship it takes to be a man of value, or you suffer eternity as a nobody. And being invisible, I would argue, is almost worse. You can have a very stress-free life if you work in Starbucks. You don't care about the Starbucks once you clock off. You're not at work at the time. You go home, you play video games, and you exist until you die. That's stress-free, but you have to suffer being a nobody. Alternatively, you can go out there into the world, try and implement your mark on the world, work hard, try to get rich, more money, more problems. You can try and start a business, the stress of that. You can lose your girlfriend because all you're doing is working. This is a new level of stress, a new level of trauma, but at least you'll be a somebody at the end of it. There's two ways to suffer. You either suffer to become a somebody, or you suffer as a perpetual and forever nobody. What did Napoleon say?
He said, glory is fleeting, but obscurity is forever.
Absolutely. Glory is fleeting, but obscurity is forever. And when he says fleeting, that's a really good point, because everything in life is rented, especially your glory as a man.
For real.
When you have a good body, it is not a good body as complete. It's not finished. You haven't completed the task. You have rented that good physical condition. You must train every day to retain it.
You're going to keep talking as normal. We're aware of the DDoS attack. We're aware that new people can't join. However, for the 60 or 70,000 of you who are in the chat right now, good, you are seeing us, and we will continue this, and we will you'll be able to watch this in retrospect once it's uploaded. So we're aware of the DDoS attack. It's being worked on.
Absolutely. So everything is rented. Your body, you don't just get a good body and you're done. You still have to go to the gym every day to maintain that good body. You don't just get a hot girl and it's done. You still have to work hard for her to always love you and respect you. You don't just start a business and now you're rich. No, you have to start a business and work on that business every day. If you take your eye off the business, it will fail. Everything in life is rented. So when he says glory is fleeting, he's also absolutely not correct, because glory is fleeting and you have to constantly and endlessly work for it and make sure that you never stop. Otherwise, it will be taken from you. But obscurity is forever. If you never make a mark on the world, then you effectively never existed.
Yeah.
And when you're gone, nobody will care. The reason our Father is discussed at length is because of who me and Tristan are. And the reason we will be discussed forever is because who our sons will become. And that's very important, because you have a duty to your ancestors and you have a duty to God. So you must make a choice. And this is a genuine choice to you people at home. Do you want to live in obscurity forever and be invisible and not matter and have an easier life? I would argue that it's not easier, because in your heart and in your soul, you're going to feel guilty knowing you could have been something you're not, and you have a duty to your ancestors and to God to be the best version of yourself. Or do you want to try your absolute best and struggle and suffer every day of your life, paying the rent for all of the amazing things around you? We pay endless rent. We pay rent for our bodies. We pay rent for our relationships. We pay rent to keep our kids. We pay rent to keep our business. We pay rent to keep our freedom. Every single day is work to pay the rent. It's absolutely never ending, and you have to make that choice. So if you have a pen and paper in front of you, you need to decide, do you want to be invisible with a lower rent bill, or do you want to be important and work hard and suffer to make sure that the rent is paid? It's a choice you must make, and it's binary, and you must be extremely dedicated towards the decision you finally make. As Tristan said, we understand there's a big DDoS attack right now. We're going to wait for that. What super chats do we have?
None. I can't. We can't access super chats right now. DDoS attack. Matrix attack.
Is it that mosquito?
Is it the mosquito? It might be the mosquito.
Mosquito.
I think it's the mosquito. If we kill the mosquito, the DDoS attack might end.
I don't know where he is. We have to wait for him to try and come to us.
Well, obviously he's on a computer somewhere.
He's got our targets.
He's on a computer somewhere doing the DDoS attack.
No, he's not. The mosquito's not doing the DDoS attack. See, don't refresh. Okay, there you go. Shit. The people who were still in, and you can see the feed there. So if you are in, you are in, and we do know that. That's been confirmed. However, there is a DDoS attack. But it's fine. Should be back up momentarily. But continue, Andrew. Where were you?
So as you're just finding yourselves as men, I understand I have a huge responsibility because of the massive platform I have. There's no doubt about it. I am the largest influencer in this space. I'm perhaps one of, if not the largest influencer on the planet today. And I have a massive responsibility to try my best to improve the world and teach people important things. And it's very difficult, as most of you men are just finding yourselves, trying to figure out what and who you should be in a culture with little to no proper guidance. If you remove me from the internet, you have a whole bunch of loudmouths who've not achieved anything amazing or remarkable in their real lives.
Who don't act in a respectful way.
Who've not had any real world achievements. There's a few people I can name who aren't like that, but we're generalizing. And then you have a largely matriarchal society and a matriarchal education system that you're beholden to. So who's teaching you to be a man? If you're fortunate enough to have a fantastic father, great. But if you don't, there are very little lessons, and there's basically no guidance out there explaining to you the self-accountability which is required to be a man. Everything we were just saying to you earlier about making the choice of being invisible or being highly important and paying the rent for one of those two choices, that's based around absolute and utter brutal self-accountability. You must accept the decision you want to make, and you must accept that everything is your fault. Everything is on your shoulders, regardless of what God throws at you. Give you an example. Me and you were in jail. Did we still have bills to pay? Did we still have mouths to feed?
Absolutely.
Did we still have a business to run? We're locked in a Romanian jail cell with no access to the outside world, and we still had responsibilities, and we were still absolutely and utterly accountable for those. We didn't sit and say, well, I'm in jail, so they don't matter.
Let them take care of it.
No, they do matter. We're men, and they must be handled, and we found a way to handle it regardless. Even though we believe we shouldn't have been in jail, even though it was unfair, even though it was a matrix attack, we still took absolute and utter self-accountability for the situation and all of our problems. We never skipped a beat. We never missed a single payment. We never let anyone starve. We handled absolutely everything from a jail cell. And you have to sit here and understand, most of you are in absolute freedom, not meeting your responsibilities. How are you going to meet your responsibilities if you become important enough to be locked in jail? How are you going to meet your responsibilities when you're heartbroken? How are you going to meet your responsibilities if you lose all your money?
And we're not talking just about our immediate family in a selfish way. I'm talking about my employees. I have over 300 plus employees, security guards who rely on their salary that they get from our company to feed their families, and that's their job. It's not their fault I was locked in jail. I'm the man who hired them. I have a responsibility to make sure everyone's salaries are paid, to make sure everyone's family is fine. There's a massive triangle, a massive pyramid built underneath men like us of people who need to eat, and people who do us a service, and people who need their money in exchange. I couldn't just say, you know what, I'm in jail. They'll understand. What would I expect these people to do? You know, this is their job. They work for me, and it's my responsibility to make sure everyone's getting their paycheck, even if I'm locked away, which is scary because how would you accomplish the same thing? Imagine you have 3 months. You have 45 minutes on the phone 3 times a week. That's all you get for 3 months. Would you be able to make sure that everybody you care about and everybody who depends on you and all the people who depend on you from a business perspective, all the people who work with you, work for you, are fed, provided for, getting their salary, getting their paycheck? Could you do that? If not, keep working.
Absolutely.
Because we pulled it off.
Absolutely.
Just about.
Keep working,
Just about,
man.
my friend.
Everybody
We got it done. And we're preparing ourselves for anything else that might happen in the future to make sure we can always get it done. There's a lot of naivety and misunderstanding as to what manhood entails, and as a consequence, womanhood as well. I see a lot of people on the internet complaining about women and talking about all the problems with women. The two genders work in parallel. We're designed to work as a perfect unison. Femininity, and true masculinity go hand in hand, and they work perfectly when both genders understand their roles and fall into them completely. It's crazy. I see so many red pill guys, so many guys on the internet, so many men constantly complaining about women, not understanding that if one of the genders is broken, if one side of the yin is broken, the yang is going to break by extension. It's impossible to
Throw me over, bro. Yes. That's gonna be in the video, bro. Chill out. Throw me over. You don't get smacked. Body slam. Anyway.
Side of the yin is broken, the yang is going to break by extension. It's impossible to complain about women and the way women act if men are not acting the way they should act, because we're designed to work together. And I think as men, we have most control over ourselves, absolute self-accountability. So the best way we can fix the world, the best way we can change or fix women is to fix ourselves, look at ourselves, and be the best kind of men we can be. When you see a man who is constantly complaining about women, that's a reflection of him. If every woman he meets disrespects him, he will say women are disrespectful. I would argue he is not worthy of respect, because I'll tell you something that a lot of people don't want to hear. I don't meet bad women. When I'm around women, they treat me with absolute respect. They're extremely feminine. They're extremely soft. They're extremely kind. They let me lead. They let me take control. They let me do what I need to do as a man because they look at me and they respect me. And a woman is a reflection of her man. If I was less of a man, the same woman might treat me in a disrespectful way. But that is down to me, who I am. So when I see these men constantly complaining about women and the way women act and women in society, I understand what they're trying to do. But what they don't understand is if they took self-accountability, if the men all took self-accountability and truly became men of honor and capability and bravery worthy of respect, the women would reflect that. The women you interact with will reflect that. I can't meet a bad woman. When's the last time you or I met a woman who talked to us rudely in front of other people or refused to make us a coffee if we asked or disrespected us? Ever.
It's about, you can run through the world being a nobody and being lacking in so many different things and try to say that women need to hold themselves to a higher standard, or you think you need to hold the women to higher standards. What you need to do is you need to hold yourself to a higher standard, because that is a universal, unspoken language that people see in themselves. From my girlfriend to my friends to my brothers to every relation I have, every single person who knows me knows I hold myself to an extremely high standard. So what are they going to do? Talk to me like shit?
Absolutely. And women are a fantastic mirror.
Yeah.
Women are a mirror to men. That's what's so important people to understand. Women are a mirror. If you're running into a bunch of rude, ungrateful women, that's God telling you that you need to be a better man. I guarantee some of the women who have treated you terribly, who have disrespected you and wouldn't obey you and wouldn't listen to you and didn't want to be nice to you and didn't want to be soft or feminine or kind or gentle with you, would treat me and my brother like gods. The same woman, because of who we are. So it's very hypocritical and it's extremely naive and it's extremely asinine to sit and complain endlessly about womanhood without understanding that it's actually manhood that leads. And genuine men who genuinely stand up and have absolute capability will never encounter negative or bad, disloyal woman. We don't have women. No woman cheats on us. No woman goes behind our back. No woman sells us out. No, nothing, because of who we are as men.
All right, man. We're going to go ahead and end it right there. He's definitely talking that talk, spitting right now. And yeah, this is the next reaction that we're going to do on the channel, and we just see where he goes with this. But as always, stay motivated, stay active, stay hustling. We get this money, touch new money every day. Anything you want to say to the people?
Get a bag, get up.
Tweeting. But he ain't take no notes.
I took all the notes I needed to.
All right,
Come high value, man. Stay to yourself. You gotta work on yourself. Everything that revolves around you comes from in yourself first.
Heard it here first, man. It all starts with you, like he said. I agree. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace out.